Breaking right now, the new bullying allegations against Meghan Markle are turning into a major crisis. As you can see, they're even former friendly.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the Meghan Markle bullying allegations. Royal expert Angela Levin gives us a deeper look into the claims and backlash. Smash that like button and hit subscribe for the latest royal drama. Now, let's get into it.
Publications like Newsweek now turning on the dictator in high heels. The Daily Beast has also reported that Meghan Markle's survivors feel vindicated by reports of her demon ways. And summing this up, the royal YouTuber, according to Taz, posted the Daily Beast, Vanity Fair, and The Hollywood Reporter have all reported on Meghan not just being a demanding boss, but a truly nasty piece of work. Bullying your staff into quitting their jobs, crying, and ending up in long-term therapy is seriously damning. She sounds evil. And Julie Burchill, a highly respected columnist who Meghan Markle's Sussex squad also tried to cancel with completely false allegations of racism. But we know what they do. We know this is how they play things. Wrote, for the sugary crew who insisted they knew that Meghan is a charmer, now the bully's been stripped bare by Vanity Fair. I've just got one word, karma. Oh, you dumbass dupes, read it and weep. And of course, the Vanity Fair article, 8,000-word article, is going to have serious repercussions for Meghan's already damaged position in Hollywood. Prince Harry's biographer, Angela Levin, a woman who has been vindicated by so many of the revelations in Vanity Fair, joins me now live. So, Angela, I've been desperate to talk to you about this ever since I read the article. Hit me. What do you think?
Well, I think that they want to, I think that Vanity Fair wants to get their own back on what happened in 2017.
The allegations. What happened? Let's start with the accusations. In 2021, Meghan Markle was accused of bullying staff at Kensington Palace. Reports claimed multiple aides left due to a toxic work environment. These claims surfaced before Meghan and Harry's Oprah interview.
That's what I think. You know, sometimes people wait until the moon is cold and then they go and attack. And I think that's what it was. Shall I go back there and tell you what happened?
Yeah, because this was the cover, wasn't it, Wild, about Harry, that she claimed was in some ways racist. I mean, she throws around racism allegations to everyone, doesn't she, Angela? But yes, tell me.
Yeah, well, in 2017, she'd been with Harry. They were completely in love, as they said at the time, and he wasn't actually proposing. So she decided that he needed a bit of a push because she can't wait for things. And she also thought that it would be good with her play that she did that was playing for the 100th time. So she offered to talk and give them an interview. So they were obviously delighted. And they said that, and everything went very well. But when Harry saw it, he nearly died because women from the royal family do not actually mention that they're going to get married to somebody before anything happens and the Queen knows and Prince William knows. But she went ahead and said, you know, love is love and we're in love. But the magazine wasn't to know that. And she then decided that it was the magazine's fault because Harry did not like the title. And so she said that it was, the title was, let me see, can't remember it now, but I'll come back to it. And she didn't like the title and Harry didn't like the title and he wanted it removed and she wouldn't do it. And they the magazine couldn't do it. So things got quite difficult. And Meghan doesn't like to be in the wrong. So she then decided that it was boring. It was too much about Harry when it should have been about her. And the worst thing of all, the big word, which she uses, quite a lot and has done since then, that it was racist. And the reason it was for racist was that it was there was a title that was to do with 1930 magazine where there was a lot of blacks around, and she didn't like it. So that was the end of them.
Yeah, she
was
thought it was
furious.
similar to a song that had been performed by Judy Garland
Yes.
in blackface.
Yes,
But
I'm Just Worried About Harry. That's what it was called.
yeah,
I'm Just Worried About Harry, and it'd been performed by Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney as a blackface number in the 1930 film. And she was absolutely furious.
but this was grasping at straws because it was in Babes in Arms, right? And the thing is, that movie, Angela, was
Angela Levin's take. Royal insider speaks out. Royal expert Angela Levin has been closely following Meghan Markle for years, and she hasn't shied away from giving her opinions. According to Levin, these allegations are not surprising. She claims Meghan's behavior raised red flags early on. Some staff members felt intimidated.
released in 1939. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Vanity Fair weren't thinking, oh, let's try and link it to a film from 1939. They were just, I mean, look, we're journalists. We know how this works, right? We know how headline writers work. They thought it was a clever pun. That's it. No racism intended.
No, but Harry knew he was going to get into terrible trouble to have a title like that when the Queen and
Yes.
his brother didn't even know anything about it.
Yes.
So she blamed them and she blamed them. And that's it. And that really was the beginning of a very nasty Meghan. And it's gone on from there. So I think they've waited a long time. They've currently done masses of investigation, and they came up with a whole list of things that she's got wrong. And it's really, really sharp. It's really sharp. And I've picked a few that I can just read to you and see what you think of it. The first one is easy. It's that staff needed therapy after working with Meghan. Now, this was mentioned when she was still within the palace, and that people believed that the staff were so scared of her and that she was so nasty to them that they had therapy or they left. And she absolutely said nonsense. But you look at that face and you can see it's not nonsense there. And this is a magazine that it didn't happen. It happened a long time ago, but they've now got the chance to say that she was a bully. And although she denied it, she was. So that's it. That's firmly done now. And there were all sorts of things originally about this, about taking them to court and all that. But you see, really, she can turn and be nasty very quickly. And that's why Harry is very scared of her. Then the other one, next one is really business-wise, that Meghan didn't come up with ideas for archetypes. And they said that she didn't really help. And it took them, because she didn't, it took them a lot more time to find out what to do, because she didn't like what they were doing. So she was very difficult to work with.
Levin suggested Buckingham Palace's investigation was damage control, but the palace never publicly released the findings. Why? Meghan and Harry quickly denied the allegations. Their spokesperson called it a calculated attack before their Oprah interview. They claimed Meghan expected professionalism.
We know that well. So it's not a lie. It's just the truth. And then she said that I don't believe she didn't know how to curtsy for the Queen. That's the question there. And of course she did. Most little girls go around being queens and curtsying. I mean, there was a picture of her when she was very small, about, 5, 6, and she had a crown on and she was pretending to be a queen. Don't tell me that she didn't get people curtsying to her and that she was curtsying. And that's just what it was. She was pretended to be very shocked when Fergie said, "Oh, you're going to see the Queen for the first time. You do know that you have to curtsy." And she said, "What? That's ridiculous." And so Fergie went through it with her as quickly as she could, but she was furious about it. And Meghan tried to get her own back when she did this terrible, terrible curtsy, and sort of bent over, right over, and said, and then put on a very silly voice. And I thought that that was disgusting. And then Harry was challenged to engage with. And the reason why they say this, it's not necessarily cruel, but it's very interesting, this one, that he doesn't really want to work. He wants to do charity work. He doesn't mind if he doesn't get money. He can leave Meghan to get all the money. But he just wants to really work with people and not worry about getting funds. He just wants to help people. So that's quite sweet on one level, but absolutely not on another, because, you know, you have to have money to live. And actually, he asked his father for a load of money, which he had, and he's got no idea really how to handle money. He should have gone to a course or something. So all these things are not very nice. But Harry and Meghan are now pretending they're taking no notice, which is what they always do. But you don't believe that either, because Harry would be boiling underneath, and Meghan is probably screaming and shouting and tearing her whatever she can get, because she hates people to dislike her. The whole thing is that she wants people to believe what an amazing, wonderful woman she is. Hence all these big smiles and the hugs. Hasn't worked, has it?
Not a bully. Some suggested Meghan faced unfair scrutiny as a woman of color in the royal family. Was this just another chapter in the royal family's drama? Here's where things get even more suspicious. The bullying investigation was completed, but the palace refused to release the details. Some believe this was to avoid further damage to the monarchy's reputation.
It hasn't worked at all. It hasn't worked at all. But what do you make of the fact that the American mainstream media are now acknowledging that this is a major crisis for Meghan Markle? Because look, Angela, we were talking about her bullying behavior. You've been talking about the way that she screams and shouts at people, and you have tallied up the fact that the number of staff members who have actually left her employ is far, far higher than the 19 that is usually quoted. But all of a sudden, she's unable to blame this on the terrible British tabloid press or people like you and me, Angela, who are driven by racism, or however she wants to try and frame us. Of course, that's completely ridiculous. And by the way, a libelous suggestion from her, because this is now her own people. This is Hollywood Reporter. This is the Daily Beast. This is Newsweek. And this is now Vanity Fair. So do you agree that she has to now have a new strategy to try and deal with the bullying allegations, which are really starting to swirl out of control?
Well, it's very difficult, isn't it? I mean, the one thing she's got to do is to somehow get the royal family to like her again, because they're very keen on families in America. And they've all been, well, not all, but so many of them have been shocked by her rudeness about them, her cruelty to them, her lack of gratitude. And I think that that's very important. And I think that's been lying there. People being very worried about who is this woman who pretends that she's always right and that she's never wrong, and that, you know, what an awful time she had. Even if she did, I believe they think, we all have difficulties in our family, but you don't hang out the washing, do you? And the other thing about them is that this was a huge shock going to the flames in Los Angeles. She's always got to be there in the front and organizing things, and she doesn't care about anyone. And I think people have gradually seen this.
Others think Meghan demanded privacy as part of her exit agreement. Angela Levin hinted the truth could be far worse, but without a report, we may never know. So, what do you think? Was the palace covering up the truth? Or was Meghan unfairly targeted? Let me know in the comments below. This scandal is about more than just Meghan Markle. It raises questions about power and control. Should the bullying report be made public? Or is it time to move on? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications.